Hello there, and welcome back to the second episode of my tutorial series for Necesse. So, just like I've promised, I've been a busy boy in between this and the last episode. I've been down there, wasting recall scrolls, and collecting a lot of ore. Our main topics for today's episode are expansion and exploration, because I want to show you what you can do and find outside of your hometown. And to get started with anything, we will require really high amounts of metal. This is one of the very first things that I learned to accept when it comes down to Necesse. Metal is really something it's hard to have too much of, especially early game. Now, you will also find downstairs sometimes broken tools, copper tools and iron tools. These can be directly recycled into even more bars. So we're going to go and sleep a little bit, and the whole area below your island is only one biome. It's the forest biome, the most simple and easiest biome to be in. Every area in this game, of course, has a different drop table. I think many of you who are familiar with this type of game might have already expected that, but maybe it's news to you. So that means eventually you will run out of new things to discover under your home turf, because there's literally not much more to discover. But before you have to head out and seek the rest of the world, here's a few things that you still can and should do. So first of all, with all the metals that you've made yourself, there's a couple of tools that I personally find invaluable. So I've been already talking about that, but let's get those crafting materials real quick somewhere. Clay, by the way, is also something you will find downstairs quite a lot, and it's a very useful material to make pots out of and other nifty things, but more about that on a different occasion. So yeah, there. Tools. Get yourself a sickle and some shears, as these will help you in the farming front enormously. And a bucket is also absolutely fantastic, because that opens up your ability to milk cows. So that's what you really need in terms of tools that you should get done as quick as possible. So when it comes down to armor, it is up to you how rich you feel in the metal segment. I want to mention that here you see there's a grand total of 30 something copper bars for a complete iron for a complete copper set, but for a complete iron set it's the same amount of bars, and just, well, the bonus got better, but yeah, it's. I would recommend iron if you are feeling like it's hard for you to stay alive, and if you felt like the difficulty level in terms of combat was relatively easy to you, you will get along with copper quite decently. Eventually, you want the best stuff that you can get, obviously, so feel free to choose to your own liking. So, when it comes down to expansion, we obviously also need some better axe, because we need trees to build stuff with. That's the next thing that I want to showcase, how we can create some buildings for ourselves. You can obviously build with stone or wood. It's up to you what you want aesthetics wise. There's no real distinct up or downside between the materials. I have not found anything. A wooden or stone building, maybe they resist a little bit more abuse. Maybe that's one thing, but that would be the only thing that I'd know of. So I just want to show here, when we are going back to the crafting table, that now we have several options when it comes down to walls. I'm going to make myself stone walls, because as you see, I have over 1,000 pieces of stone. So we're here. You can either click singular, or you hold down the left mouse button, you see it ticks up, or like I showcased in the previous episode, shift left click to transform an entire stack, but in this scenario I don't want to. I'm also going to pick up stone path, as it gives a small speed boost on top of all that. So we're going for these. Now we're picking up the stone walls, and I'm going to make this my personal little building for crafting purposes and whatnot. So just dragging and dropping. As you see, sometimes I'm holding down the left mouse button. These are things that I'd call early access kinks. So sometimes you need to redo a portion. So we got that, and now we are heading over there. Stone door. You could also take a wood door, whatever tickles your fancy. And now as you see, it went dark inside. That means we have now a roof over our head, basically. So we're now going to get those floors down. The floors are optional, but I personally really dislike a building that has grass for a floor. And just like that, you have built your first building. It's really not much more to know or note about that. It is that simple. I personally like to use this floor because it makes me faster. You can also start spreading these paths outside. Well, it is your home turf. You really get to decide how it looks. It's totally your own decision. So, a traveling merchant has arrived, and we're finally able to buy the potion pouch. There is always something else in the pocket here. So you see, you can even import animals. There's a recipe book where we can browse all recipes. There's brain on a stick, which allows us to summon a minion. This is a thing, and a pretty big one. Minion master builds are very, very much a thing. But we want that potion pouch, as it is really, 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 really helping out. So auto pickup is enabled, and that is what we want. And now we can just shift, left click all the potions in our possession, and that is that. So health potion, that is important. Press Q for quick use. These are your direct burst heals, and you should use them wisely and wherever you need them, but reserve them for when they are important. That is really, really one thing that I wanted to say. So now we have a pocket in a pocket, but it is really, really good to have that because it will really slim down your inventory bloat. So the last thing that we would need now is a little bit of more beautification. So you can place down tiki torches, but if you want more beautiful stuff, you need new workbenches. Which brings me to the point where I want to introduce that thing as a total. I mean, we have already introduced a new workbench in form of the forge and in form of the anvil, and in some degree also with the forge. But there is more. There's the carpenter's bench, for example, which allows us, as the name implies, to build carpentry, which makes up for more beautiful things. Among these also beds. So what I want here though is a lamp of sorts. Let's take a oak candelabra. As you see there, these only require wood and torches. So I personally don't want to overdo the budget here, but a few light sources in here make the whole place more lively. So when you just keep dumping your resources into the box in the vicinity of your workstations, you will never have any problems with crafting recipes or such, because you just can't craft out of the box. This is something I love about Necesse. That's some powerful quality of life there. So next thing that I want to introduce is farmland. So on farmland, as the name implies, we can farm. So farmland only requires 5 pieces of timber. So you can go out there and chop some trees. Mind you that out there are also apple trees that you can chop, which then can be harvested regularly. You can either keep them where they stand or chop them and replant them somewhere else. It's up to you. So we have quite a lot of cows in our neighborhood. That's a good thing. Eventually we can pasture them, but not for now. So let's sprint over to the other place. Not a house yet because we need wool for that. Not a bed, not an own bed yet because we need wool for that, but that's okay. So just like that, you now know the basics about building buildings, because there's really not much more behind that. The most items in there are cosmetic, and everything can just be picked up by whacking it often enough with either an axe or pickaxe. And just about that, you got what you require. So we're going to go and craft ourselves a couple of extra farmlands now to introduce to you the wonderful simplicity and effectiveness of farming here. So shift left clicking to the farmland because I want a few more of these. So let's do that. Give me a second. Alright, package express delivery interrupted the recording. Well, whatever. So we got that farmland, and we can now place it down just like we can place down anything else. The specialty about a grid with farmland is, as the name implies, and as you might have already thought, seeds can be planted there. And it's very that simple. You just pick up the seeds that you have in your inventory and you place them down, just like that. Nothing more behind it. There goes. That's that. So the other way that we have here, so you see we've got that sickle, and here we have already a patch of sunflowers. So you equip that sickle, and then you click it, click the seeds there. The interesting part there is you get way more yield if you do it with a sickle. If you don't do it with a sickle, you basically waste a lot of your harvest, in my humble opinion. So don't harvest without a sickle. You can use these leftover materials for many other things, so it's always a good thing. In the worst case, you can sell them, you see. So you can just milk the cows with the bucket, and as you see there, you're looting the milk as a external item, so you only need one bucket to milk those cows. So all the cows out there can be used now as a food source. Pretty nifty, eh? So we are now also able to shear the sheep. So in a grand total, you need 10 pieces of wool for one bed. So, well, yeah. You can now go for some, well, primitive agriculture of sorts. So here we go. Of course, we can later also build fences to do to lead those animals inside there, or well, who says later? We can also introduce that right away. Why not? I mean, I have enough materials to do so. During the mining expedition, I have collected so much stone that at this point, I can easily just go there and craft whatever I want out of stone. So as you see there, fences can be built out of stone, out of iron, out of wood. The filter here is set to only craftable. If you want to see the complete list, you can do so. We're going to build ourselves a bit of stone fence. Want the wood aesthetics, nobody stops you from doing so. And we require a stone fence gate. Must be somewhere around here as well. So I thought. Are you kidding me? So it's an iron fence gate, but where's the stone fence gate? Yeah, alright, that is truly weird, but whatever. So we're going to live luxurious today and get that iron fence door. Maybe overlooked it because sometimes that just happens to me when I record. So here a very basic commonality there. We just set up the fence as we want it to, shape it as you want it to, make it as large or small as you want to, and the last piece of the grid obviously needs to be the door, which then oddly behaves as if it is not able to fit into this. Oh, well, whatever. So just going to move it then over here. As you see, we are unable to replace it. We need to remove this thing first, sadly. Would be cool if that be possible, but for now, well, it looks as if these are not compatible with each other graphics-wise. Whatever. So it's not about this, it's about that. You can just take that thing and put the sheep to your rope. Here we go. Then we drag it in there. You right-click the door to open it. You right-click it to close it. And then you drag the sheep over there, and then you can reuse the rope. When you right-click the doors, they stay on that position. So if you want to get the animals in there, you gotta be careful on what you're doing. But that's that. That's how you can get the sheep then to stay in there, so you can shear them indefinitely often. That's about it. All right, so with the wool we have pilfered now, well, let's see, we should have enough timber. We're moving over to the carpenter's bench, and not quite, eh? All right. So it's up to you how you want to design this place. I'm keeping things here very basic. And as it is tradition in my tutorial series, it's not going to get that much better alongside of the series, because making things look nitty and nifty and beautiful and neat and whatnot is actually a lot of time and needs a lot of time and thinking. And I really wanted to teach this game to you and not build the most wonderful possible home here out there. Even though that is also something which is really fun. So with all that extra timber, you see we have a lot of new options. For one, as you see, oak opens up an entire line of furniture. So for all you decorationists out there, you can choose certain looks according to the wood you're using, which is really awesome. I like that, especially since the game is now looking that neat. You can really do a lot of nice things. We're going for the bed here. And finally, the elder can keep his bed. We're right-clicking it to set the spawn. So we can now, every time we want to, get there to teleport there. Mind you, for example, here the storage box that we can create is basically the same as the storage box that we do there, but we can now do other things. So oak dresser, for example, stores armor sets, cabinets, bookshelves. You have now the freedom of using way more different containers. So we're going to use a cabinet here for the sake of demonstration. There we go. So in here you can now store things. I mean, it is a little bit weird to store building things in the cabinet, but why not? We can also store those enchantment scrolls in there and whatever we want to, basically. So at this point, I will distribute things like here, crafting materials will go in there. I highly recommend you to find a sort of a system for yourself as well, where you put which items, because eventually you will really stumble into issues, as this game is incredibly cluttery. There, I said it. It has really a lot of items, all right? And while it might be not as bad as a full-blown session of modded Minecraft, it still has a plenitude of potions and different tree types and crops, and yeah, the gist of it, you should really try to get yourself a system together that'll help you to sort things out. But what I really love about it is that we really have a lot of freedom of how we want to make things look. As you see there. In this chest, for example, I'm putting down my whole agricultural things because I don't want them in my crafting shack. We might even build a kitchen around that eventually or something like that. It's up to us. So another material that I want to introduce at this point is sand. As you see there with your shovel, you can go here at the beach and shovel out sand. Sand, and we put it into the crafting guide, is good for one thing, and that is glass. So we can make glass bottles out of that. So this is one of the other recipes here in the furnaces. Okay, so there's one more thing that I want to do. Give the elder the goblin ring he requested. So after that, your next quest is to kill the evil's protector. This is a much more difficult quest than the first one. You'll require one of these mysterious portals, and you'll then use that at night, and then you'll summon the boss with that. So, the thing about this guy is that he is really one chunky boy with 3000 HP, and you'll require quite some chunking power to get that done. So I'm going to go somewhere where we can find some new options. So we're leaving our map for the first time. Make sure that you also have a boat equipped, because that's really, really helpful. You press F to get into the boat, and then off we go. So that's that. You can also press F again to get off the boat, but I wouldn't recommend that. You then go off to the border of your map until this button pops up. So we have here now a desert village around the corner. I wouldn't recommend to go to the dungeons, as we are not really ready for stuff like that. So our adventure journal now tells us that there's something new. We found now the desert surface. So there's plenty of things there, and every biome in Necesse has materials that are unique to it. The wonderful thing about it is, if it is a plant or something like that, you can import it. So let's press F to get out of the ship. So that means we can easily just get here and, wrong tool, axe down that cactus. So we have these now. And if you find a new area, it's always a good idea to go on and check out what you can do out of these. As you see here, cactus does not really behave any special. It seems to be just a type of wood that has no intrinsic characteristics. We have here palm now, on the other hand. Let's check out what we can do there. So while it is used for the tools as per se, there is also a whole suite of palm furniture at the carpenter's table. So this way you can find your way around. And you also gain a coconut sapling, which allows me then to get the whole stuff going on my home turf. Let's see if the stones here are something different. Well, is this even a stone, or is this a tree? Well, whatever it is, we can't procure it. Weird. So here goes the village itself. There are sometimes chests like that scattered across the world. There's flimsy fins. Well, I don't like what they do, so resilience gain reduction is none of my taste. So, apprentice enchanting scroll. Can enchant a weapon with that, why not? And another mysterious portal. So we can put these. This should be auto-collected, or is the auto-collection disabled and I read it the wrong way? It's a little bit confusing. Anyways, so here we have now our first city at hand. As you see there, the buildings contain furniture and people. The thing right now, as with the version we're playing, is this: you can plunder this place entirely. Every chest is brim-filled with stuff, and nobody will hate you or persecute you for picking up that stuff. So people that you find here can be talked to, and depending on their job, you can either buy some specifics from them. These are always specific to the job that they are doing. You can always sell something. Well, not always, as you see. The animal keeper doesn't want to buy anything. And you can also try to hire them. The animal keeper here doesn't want to, but we can ask him what he could do. And these jobs can be fulfilled by the person in question. So the people here, well, the blacksmith will stay a blacksmith. You can't re-job them or something like that. So the blacksmith would sell, as you see here, an iron pickaxe dirt cheap. So as you see, you could also buy that. An iron fishing rod. I might be even intrigued to do that. And cosmetic items. Selling. You could sell your metals here, although I would not highly recommend it, although the broken tools have a good quota here. And again, here we can try to hire the person. The fun part is that you keep the ability to sell stuff at these people even if you hire them. Here we don't have the gold bars on us, but well, we could just hop over to our home turf and pick them up if we wanted to. And like I said, everything that lies around here, nobody will hate on you if you just pick it up. So you could just pick up a carpenter's bench here if you want to be stingy on the resources. There are really, really interesting folks around here, like gunsmiths. Yeah, these items are a thing in this game. and they are only one of many, many things that you can do. And here again, we can't hire these folks if we want to. The game has no real limits that I've found so far in that area. Here's a dresser, for example. Bookshelves, the ones that I've only skimmed at the carpenters. And there's the baseline villager. So these are the easiest to go for, and they are really also valuable in their own way. We're just picking up stuff here as it might be among the items that we need. So just as one thing in advance, so let's see here. Guards, by the way, are really valuable to hire as well. Oh, look at that. We have all the things that the guard wants. Let's do this. So Glenn the guard has joined Tutorialton. That's wonderful. A stylist is also here. And the bottom line, and the really important thing about all this, is that you will always have to pay a fee depending on the job of the person. That is pretty much it. So here's also a trough to feed your animals with. So down here is now the desert biome area. This is a completely different underground than the one that you've seen before. And as you also can see, there's pretty dangerous things out there ought to bite you to death. So we're going to go, because we're nowhere near ready for these problems here, and we're going to rest up. As you see there, the other folks here are defending the city that is really dangerous at night. Therefore, we're going to go to our bed. So villages offer you the ability to hire new people. That's, in my humble opinion, their mainstay. But they also offer you a ability to find more exclusive people for your town. Like, you can look for a gunsmith if you want one, or whatever tickles your fancy. It's up to you, as the game has no must-haves or anything like these. I personally found it very, very handy to hire a guard, nevertheless, as these are pretty good. So as you see there, whenever you find something new on the surface, you get a notification about that. Or down here, we found a jackal, and as you see there, it really pays off to sometimes just check out what's the matter with them. So we can now pop a recall scroll if we want to, or you can just go back. It is up to you. So here we go. Let's meet our friend here. So Glenn the guard has now the problem that he has no storage that has food in it that is assigned to the village. So let's do this. So we are adding this one to the colony, and just like that, this problem should be resolved. Let's see. There you go. Glenn automatically went on over there to consume the cabbage. And as you see, when you hired your first person, all of a sudden you've taken up some responsibilities for the people so they don't starve on you. Alright, so I'll leave it like that. With the knowledge of this episode now, you are ready to go for more expansionistic things. You now know how to explore other tiles and these. The next big milestone up ahead of you will be to get yourself ready for that boss fight. How you do that is up to you. I personally think one of the easiest ways to get that done is via a other person that you recruit there, because you can equip them just like you can equip yourself. As you see there, this fella isn't equipped too badly, but more about that in the next episode, my dear friends. I haven't covered food production or cooking yet, so that is something that I'll also cover in the upcoming episode. We will also talk about managing people to do things in your colony autonomously for you. So that's all I want to say for this episode, and thanks for watching yet again. I really appreciate having you folks around, and as usual, leave me your comments down below, leave me a thumbs up, consider subscribing, check out the description box where you can find a link to the playlist for this whole thing. And if you feel like my work is worth supporting, I'd be really happy if you'd checked out the links down there. There's plenty of methods. Big thanks to everybody of you who does so, and a big thanks for watching this episode up until the very end. Really means more to me than you might think. And thanks for being around. Hope you will come back for the next one, and see you around. Bye bye.